There are Subaru tricks that professional mechanics and longtime enthusiasts use every single day that 99% of regular owners have never heard of. Not the basic stuff, not check your tire pressure or change your oil regularly. Actual insider techniques that save time, prevent expensive damage, diagnose problems before they become serious, and get more performance and reliability out of your Subaru than most owners ever experience. These tricks exist in 3 categories. First, diagnostic tricks that tell you what's happening inside your Subaru without spending money at a shop. Second, preservation tricks that protect critical components from the kind of damage that ends engines and transmissions early. Third, operational tricks that make your Subaru work better, respond faster, and serve you more reliably in situations where most owners are caught completely off guard. I've collected these from years of working on Subarus, from conversations with professional technicians, from high-mileage owner communities, and from deep research into how these vehicles actually work versus how most people think they work. Some of these will change how you drive every single day. Some will save you thousands of dollars the first time you use them. Some you'll use once and remember for the rest of your Subaru ownership. All of them are genuinely unknown to the vast majority of drivers. Let's get into it. Pro trick number 1, the cardboard oil leak diagnostic. Here's how professional mechanics find small oil leaks that are too minor to show up as drips on the ground, but significant enough to cause long-term problems. Place a clean sheet of white cardboard or a flattened cardboard box under your Subaru overnight. Position it to cover the full length of the engine and transmission. In the morning, before moving the car, examine the cardboard carefully. Even a single drop of oil falling from height creates a distinctive splatter pattern. The size of the splatter tells you roughly how high the drop fell. The color tells you the fluid. Dark brown or black is engine oil. Reddish pink is CVT fluid. Clear to light yellow is power steering fluid. Green or orange is coolant. The position of the pattern on the cardboard, combined with the drop height estimation from the splatter size, lets you triangulate approximately where on the engine or transmission the leak originates. This technique finds leaks months before they become serious enough to show up as puddles on your driveway. On Subaru EJ and FB engines specifically, where early head gasket seepage starts as a very slow external weep long before any internal mixing occurs, cardboard testing at 6-month intervals is one of the most effective early warning tools available. Cost, 0. Time, 30 seconds to place, 2 minutes to examine in the morning. Pro trick number 2, the idle quality diagnostic. This trick lets you identify a failing cylinder, a vacuum leak, or a fuel delivery issue using nothing but your ears and your hand. With the engine at full operating temperature and idling in park, stand next to the open engine bay and listen carefully. A healthy Subaru idle is smooth and consistent, with an even rhythm at 650 to 750 revolutions per minute. Now listen for these specific patterns. A rhythmic miss, like a skipped beat in an otherwise even pattern, indicates a cylinder not firing consistently. This is a misfire. On a 4-cylinder engine, the pattern repeats every 2 engine rotations. A high-pitched hissing sound, constant or intermittent, indicates a vacuum leak. Follow the sound toward its source while the engine idles. Vacuum leaks cause lean conditions that lead to the P0171 and P0174 codes, common on higher mileage Subarus. A rough, lumpy idle that smooths out at slightly higher or RPM, 1,200 to 1,500 RPM, indicates either a dirty throttle body or a failing idle air control circuit. Now, place your hand near, not on, the exhaust manifold area while someone observes the tailpipe. Puffing exhaust that comes in rhythmic bursts from the manifold surface rather than smoothly from the tailpipe indicates an exhaust manifold leak, another common Subaru issue on higher mileage vehicles. None of this requires any equipment. A trained ear in 2 minutes identify problems that a shop would charge $150 for a diagnostic fee to tell you about. Pro trick number 3, the CVT temperature management technique. This trick is used by every professional who works extensively with CVT-equipped Subarus and is completely unknown to most owners. The CVT transmission is the single most expensive component in most modern Subarus, costing $4,500 to $7,000 to replace. Temperature is the primary variable determining its lifespan. The pro technique: before any sustained high-load driving, specifically mountain passes, towing, or extended steep grades, use the manual shift mode. If your Subaru has paddle shifters or a manual gate on the shifter, to lock the CVT into a specific ratio rather than allowing it to hunt continuously. When the CVT hunts between ratios under load, the belt slips fractionally at each ratio change. Each slip generates heat. Sustained hunting on a long grade generates substantial heat that degrades CVT fluid significantly faster than steady-state operation at a fixed ratio. By selecting a fixed ratio in manual mode that keeps RPMs around 2,500 to 3,000 on a long grade, you eliminate ratio hunting, reduce belt slip, and keep CVT temperatures meaningfully lower than automatic mode on the same grade. On grades longer than 3 to 5 miles, this technique can keep CVT temperature 15 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit lower than allowing the transmission to manage itself. That temperature difference, compounded over thousands of miles of mountain driving, translates directly into extended CVT lifespan and reduced fluid degradation rate. Pro trick number 4, the fuel injector cleaning technique. Professional Subaru technicians know that direct injection engines develop intake valve carbon buildup and fuel injector deposit buildup on two completely separate maintenance schedules and treat them differently. Here's the pro approach to keeping injectors clean between professional cleanings. Once every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, add a full bottle of a quality fuel system cleaner specifically designed for direct injection systems to a near-empty tank. Then fill with premium top-tier fuel immediately after. The near-empty tank ensures maximum concentration of the cleaner in the fuel, and the fresh premium fill distributes it through the system at full concentration immediately. Run this tank to near empty before refueling again, giving the cleaner maximum time and exposure to work through the injectors. The specific products that work: BG44K, Chevron Techron Concentrate Plus, and Liquimoly Jectron are the 3 products professional technicians consistently recommend for direct injection Subarus. Generic fuel system cleaners, particularly low-cost options, frequently don't contain adequate concentrations of the active ingredients to meaningfully affect injector deposits and aren't worth using. Cost: $10 to $20 per treatment every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. What this prevents: $300 to $800 in professional injector cleaning or replacement at 80,000 to 120,000 miles. Before we continue, tricks like these work best when built on a foundation of correct maintenance intervals and preventive replacement schedules. I've documented the complete system in the 500,000-mile car maintenance blueprint. Link in the description. Pro trick number 5, the battery health test without equipment. Here's how professionals quickly assess battery health without a dedicated battery tester. With the engine fully warmed up and running, turn on every electrical load simultaneously. Headlights on high beam, rear defroster on, climate control fan at maximum speed, heated seats on if equipped. Now, watch the dashboard voltmeter if your Subaru has one, or use a cheap $15 OBD2 Bluetooth reader to see live battery voltage on your phone. Under full electrical load with the engine running, Voltage should stay between 13.5 and 14.4 volts. This range indicates the alternator is maintaining charge against the load. If voltage drops below 13.0 volts under this load, the alternator is struggling to keep up, indicating either alternator weakness or a battery that's drawing more current than it should due to internal cell failure. If voltage is above 14.8 volts, the voltage regulator may be overcharging, which degrades battery life and can damage sensitive electronics. Now shut the engine off with all those loads still running. Watch voltage. A healthy, fully charged battery holds above 12.4 volts, with those loads running for 30 seconds after engine shutoff. Rapid drop below 12.0 volts within 10 seconds indicates a battery that's lost significant capacity and needs replacement before it strands you. This test takes 2 minutes and costs nothing, beyond a $15 OBD reader you should already own. Pro trick number 6, the cold start oil pressure verification. Professional mechanics who build high-mileage Subarus use this technique to verify the oiling system is functioning correctly without disassembling anything. Modern Subarus don't have oil pressure gauges, only warning lights that illuminate only when pressure drops to a dangerously low level. By the time the light comes on, damage is already occurring. Here's the pro technique for verifying adequate oil pressure behavior. After an overnight cold soak, start the engine and immediately watch the oil pressure warning light. On a healthy Subaru oiling system, the oil pressure light should extinguish within 1 to 2 seconds of startup, sometimes nearly instantaneously. If the oil pressure light takes 3 to 5 seconds or more to extinguish after a cold start, this indicates that oil is draining away from the pump pickup, or that the pump is having difficulty building pressure quickly. Causes include oil level low. Check immediately. Oil too thin for ambient temperature. Wrong viscosity. Worn oil pump losing prime between shutdown and startup. Or excessive bearing clearances allowing oil to drain away from critical passages faster than normal. Any cold start where the oil pressure light takes more than 3 seconds to go out should be investigated immediately. On a boxer engine where cold start wear is already higher than conventional engines due to horizontal cylinder orientation, delayed oil pressure buildup dramatically amplifies that wear. Pro trick number 7, the brake system moisture test. This trick identifies brake fluid that needs replacement before it causes problems, using nothing but your eyes. Open the brake fluid reservoir under the hood. Look at the fluid color under good lighting. Fresh brake fluid, clear to very light yellow, transparent, no cloudiness. Moisture contaminated fluid, darker yellow to light brown, slight cloudiness or haze visible. Severely contaminated fluid, dark brown, opaque, sometimes with visible particles. Here's the pro insight most owners miss. Brake fluid absorbs moisture from the atmosphere continuously through the reservoir cap and rubber brake hoses. Every 1% of moisture content lowers the boiling point of the fluid by approximately 25 degrees Fahrenheit. New DOT 3 fluid boils at 401 degrees Fahrenheit at just 3% moisture content, which can accumulate in 2 to 3 years of normal use. That boiling point drops to around 284 degrees Fahrenheit. Under hard braking on a mountain descent or in an emergency stop situation, that contaminated fluid can vaporize in the calipers, causing complete temporary brake failure. Professional technicians recommend brake fluid replacement every 2 years regardless of appearance, but the visual test tells you immediately whether your current fluid is within acceptable range or past it. Cost of brake fluid flush: $80 to $150 at a shop, or $20 DIY. Cost of brake failure from vapor lock, potentially catastrophic. Pro trick number 8. The Subaru-specific tire rotation pattern. Most owners rotate tires front to back in a straight pattern. Professional technicians who work specifically on AWD Subarus use a different pattern, and the reason matters. Subaru's symmetrical AWD system requires all 4 tires to remain within a very specific diameter tolerance of each other, typically within 1/4 inch of circumference. When tires wear unevenly, the AWD system works against itself, creating stress on the center differential and transfer case. The Pro rotation pattern for Subarus, X pattern rotation, where the front driver goes to rear passenger and front passenger goes to rear driver, crossing both axles simultaneously. This pattern equalizes wear more aggressively than straight front-to-back rotation because it reverses both the axle position and the side position simultaneously, exposing each tire to the widest possible range of wear conditions. The result is all 4 tires staying within the tight diameter tolerance Subaru's AWD system requires across the full tire lifespan, rather than diverging in wear rate as they would with straight rotation patterns. Rotate every 5,000 miles, not the 7,500 miles many shops recommend. On an AWD system as sensitive to diameter variation as Subaru's, the more frequent rotation interval maintains tighter wear consistency. Pro trick number 9, the thermostat function verification. This 2-minute test verifies your thermostat is opening and closing correctly without removing it from the engine. On a cold engine, overnight cold soak preferred, start the engine and place your hand near, not on, the upper radiator hose. For the first 5 to 7 minutes of warm-up, the upper radiator hose should remain cool or only slightly warm. A properly functioning thermostat is closed during this period, keeping coolant in the engine to warm up faster. At full operating temperature, temperature gauge reaches center, the thermostat opens. You should feel the upper radiator hose become suddenly and noticeably hot within 30 to 60 seconds of the gauge reaching center. This is coolant now flowing from the hot engine into the radiator for the first time. What the results tell you: hose gets hot immediately at startup. Thermostat is stuck open. The engine takes longer to reach operating temperature, reducing fuel efficiency, increasing cold start wear, and in cold climates potentially never reaching full operating temperature. Hose never gets hot even after the gauge reaches center. Thermostat is stuck closed. Extremely dangerous. Engine will overheat. Pull over immediately if you observe this during the test. Hose gets hot gradually and at the correct moment. Thermostat functioning correctly. A thermostat costs $15 to $40. A stuck closed thermostat destroys engines. Pro trick number 10, the eyesight camera fog prevention. This final trick is specific to eyesight-equipped Subarus and prevents the frustrating eyesight-disabled warning that appears in cold, humid, or foggy conditions. Eyesight cameras are positioned at the top center of the windshield behind the glass. In cold weather or high humidity, the inside of the windshield fogs in that location before anywhere else because the glass is coldest at that point, farthest from the defroster vents at the bottom of the windshield. When that area fogs, eyesight immediately disables and displays a camera-obscured warning. The Pro prevention technique: before you need the defroster, engage the front defroster at low fan speed as soon as you start the car, even if the windshield appears clear. This begins warming the glass gradually from bottom up. Direct one of the central dashboard vents upward toward the headliner, aimed generally toward the rearview mirror area. The slight airflow across the upper windshield area prevents cold glass from reaching dew point. In severely cold conditions, allow an additional 5 minutes of warm-up before driving, specifically to let the defroster bring the upper windshield to a temperature where condensation won't form. This technique eliminates the majority of eyesight disable events that frustrate Subaru owners in cold and humid climates without requiring any modification or dealer intervention. The bottom line: 10 pro tricks unknown to 99% of Subaru drivers. Cardboard overnight leak diagnostic identifies early oil and fluid leaks before they become serious. maintenance. Idle Quality Diagnostic identifies misfires, vacuum leaks, and throttle body issues using only your ears. CVT Temperature Management, using manual shift mode on long grades, extends transmission life significantly. Direct Injection Fuel System Cleaner treatment every 5,000 to 7,000 miles prevents expensive injector deposits. Battery health verification under full electrical load without dedicated equipment. Cold start oil pressure light timing reveals oiling system health before warning lights tell you there's a problem. Brake fluid color and transparency assessment identifies moisture contamination before it causes brake fade. X pattern E. WD-specific tire rotation maintains the tight diameter tolerance Subaru's AWD system requires. Upper radiator hose temperature timing verifies thermostat function without any disassembly. Eyesight fog prevention using early defroster activation and directed vent airflow. None of these require special tools. None cost significant money. All of them provide genuine insight into your Subaru's condition and protect systems that most owners never think about until something fails expensively. Start using these today. Your Subaru will tell you more than you ever knew it could. And if you want the complete system of professional-level maintenance practices documented for your specific Subaru model and generation, check out the 500,000-mile car maintenance blueprint in the description. If you found this video helpful, be sure to watch this next video as we're sharing insider tips to help you cut repair costs and keep your car running like new.